Today's lesson, top 5 breakout patterns to know. And again, we're going to keep this as simple as possible. And I love CREX. So many examples I've gotten out of this one play from last year, as you can see on April the 29th. I'm really going to call it 1 and 2 because you can kind of, it depends on if you're looking at a bull flag, you're looking at a sending triangle, you're looking at a pennant flag, you're looking at, essentially a wedge. You can define it many different ways, but we're going to call 1 and 2 flag and wedge patterns. Huge to me. And you can see right off, this one had like 8 or 9 or 10. I mean, 1, 2, we're going to get into 2, 3, all these. That's 3 right there. Here we go, 4, 5, 6, 7, just wow. So let's get into it. Let's break them down and kind of see the difference between, the 3 of them. The 3 different, and this one I love. It came with all of them. And when it's hot, team, when it's hot, and you're seeing a play run like this from 95 cents all the way up to 3, and this is just in the morning, within about an hour and a half or so, you're going to see a lot of the time this in it. You're going to see a bull flag. See the bull flag, and a true traditional bull flag is this right here. Don't worry about this bottom part with the moving average. This is kind of an example I used here why it's bouncing. This time it ended up being kind of the VWAP and just exploding off of with the volume squeezing out of the wedge. And that's what you normally get. But this is a traditional bull flag right here. We really get 2 in a row. 2 bull flags. We get a pole, kind of ascending a little out of an angle, a little bit more so, right? A little bit more at an angle. And then this is more of a downtrend type bull flag essentially, or wedge. It's not horizontal or going up. That would be your pennant flag or your ascending triangle. Again, bull flag, kind of, if you want to get technical. That doesn't matter. That's why I always, you'll see me 9 times out of 10, I'm just going to say flag/wedge. You see that, right? I just say flag/wedge because I don't want to try to get technical, hurt someone's feelings. Like, let's just call it a flag wedge. It is what it is. It's a flag. It's a wedge. And again, but your traditional, what it would be called is a bull flag. This is more of a pennant flag right here, right? Same thing. Goes sideways, more of a sideways, up more, or if anything, it goes up. This, and I actually meant to put this line. I didn't mean to go horizontal here. I meant to go, as you can see, I could have put a line here and go on just a little bit. Would have been a perfect pennant flag. Then you get this, and this is what you normally see at the very top of it. You get this literally, it's kind of like your flag at the top of the hill, and this ends up being that kind of pole, which you could draw a flag on it. But this is usually your top move. It's kind of like, here, I'm about to explode one last time for you. And sometimes it goes for more than just this little move. But the pennant flag right at the top, or it is more, certainly so, of more of an, it's not just a cross or a little bit, it is straight up, it is ready to rock and roll. When you see something like this right here, team, get ready to buy. That's where you can buy a breakout. When you see it pop off the top of that, you're good. Now, of course, you're kind of capped off, but again, you got a good almost 20-cent move. This is 20 cents. This is 20 cents. So almost from the cap of it, a 20-cent move immediately. Just breaking it down. Again, here's what you're going to notice with it. Look on the breaks of the flags. Pennant flag. Or I should say bull flag, pennant flag. All the flags. Flag, wedge, whatever you call it. But look on the pops of the flags, the wedges, the squeezes. Look at you squeeze and look at the volume. Flags and wedges with support and volume lead to nice spikes. They squeeze. This is what a squeeze is called. Look at that. Woof. I mean, amazing. And look at the volume. Again, even later, on your spikes, notice even up right here. Look at the volume. The volume on this spike. Now, again, I should have, I hate this was a little bit older, so this was, why before I switched it from green to red. But still, you wouldn't notice most of these would be green, huge green candles for the most part. But regardless, just look at the volume surge on the breakouts. Another one, right around, I think it was the same day. Look how hot, like I said, last year was just overall so hot. Man, last year was great. All the way into, this is the same day, all the way into April. It just usually April's, maybe May, that little area in there. Sometimes April's kind of decent, but all the way into May, anyway, it was just hot last year, all the way into June, July. Look at the flags and the volume, which I meant to pull this a little bit down, but you can see how high the volume surges this. I meant to put down in here. I don't know how that ended up popping up here, but look at the surge of the volume, especially right here. Again, this top little ascending triangle, right? You get some bull flag right here. You get 2 pennant flags. Then you get this ascending triangle. It's a real small one this time, but you get the same. Look at the same little small ascending triangle. It's a little smaller, but look at the same surge off of it, and look at the volume. Same thing right here. It's the same as the one before. Here's your last little ascending triangle. Look at that surge off of it. You'll see that little off of ascending triangles, these nice little surges like that. And again, notice the volume that comes in when you squeeze through the wedges, the flags. That's when it's hot, team. When it's hot, team, when you know it's, of course, there were 2 plays. I mean, this play was going from, look, to the 14. That was, the start of the day. That was opening. I don't know how much it spiked in pre-market, but from the opening bell, it was at $14. Within an hour, we're up to 20 plus. I'll take $6 an hour. That's a good spike. So again, this is when things are super, this is the same day as, the other CREX moving. 2 X plays. The X plays, the X-Men. We're moving this day. Notice the flags, the pops of them. This is when it's hot. This is when it's good to buy breakouts. That's my point. When it's hot, stocks are moving. You've got stocks up 100% plus right here. You're going to notice that. These surges. Breakouts are good to buy. That's when the breakouts are the best to buy. Right now, when you see these, be very careful. Just a whole nother example. I mean, I'm just trying to show you as many as I can. TAOP. Wish that would, trying to get that to go. I guess I don't know why that stays up there sometimes. Sometimes it goes away. But see, there's another one. This is all the way back. This is in July of last year. Again, it's very similar, right? Pull, flag, pop. Pull, flag, pop. Small pull, flag. Here's your top one. Remember your ascending triangle. Didn't really put one in here again because it's really small like the last one. But look at that little bitty triangle, little bitty flag, and then woof, just that same type of 1, 2, 3 candle up, and then another one. Beautiful move. I mean, you get right here. That was essentially the $10 pop. We hit 15 before you knew it. I mean, look how fast that moved from these squeezes. Gotta love it. I mean, the squeeze of this, and you're popping out of it. So you're in right here at, again, a move inside a move. So be taking some right here in case you don't keep popping. But still, you pop out of this downtrend, right? It's really classified still as a downtrend. J trades would be seen as that, but it is still a flag. And we really want to see squeezing. And look at the volume. Look at this crazy volume that comes in. I mean, look right here at the break. Look at the volume candle. Breaks. Look at the volume. Again, you'll see this. That's the classification of most bull flags or flags. You'll kind of get that first volume surge. Look at the volume die off. Volume surge, we popped out of it. Right here maintains a lot of the volume, then it dies off. Oh, we're popping out of it. It's volume surge. Okay, now we're in the triangle. Dies off a little bit. Pop of it. You see how it kind of goes back and forth? So those are great signs, team. Notice that the flag and the initial pop into the flag, wedge, super duper volume. Flag starts to take shape, volume dies down. Squeeze out of said flag, volume comes crazily back in. Into new said flag. Volume starts slowly kind of dying down. So over and over and over, rinse and repeat, right? Essentially. So the breaks, that's when it's, again, we're not in that time period right now. But when we get back to it, these wedge breakouts, these flag breakout patterns are huge to know. Great to see. Easy to kind of read when it's like this. It's just great. It's been a while, unfortunately. A few months. So I should say, not a few months, but it's been a month or two since it's been hot and we've really seen continuation. Seeing a lot of dumping, right, at the bell, essentially. Or small spikes, but not this continuation. I'm looking a little later in the day. Here's NTN. We're talking, this is noon my time, essentially lunch, so 1 DEX time, noon my time. Look at the continuation of the flags. Now, not nearly as crazy spiking, but still, I mean, we're going, from $6 spike up to $6.50, and again, $6.50 up to $7 up to $7.50 plus. So sometimes they're not, this is probably one of those time periods, which remember August was, if you were trading at that time, or if you were in chat at that time, a little slower. August was when it really started dying down from the summer. But again, look at the trend line. I could have set a trend line on that too. Woohoo, look at that trend line. Just noticed it. Beautiful. And that's where you get a lot of those pops off, off those squeezes. Let me just show you that real quick too. And I could go back to CRX. Notice when you put the trend lines in, that's where a lot of the time when that wedge comes down to the tip top here, why it pops there, you're at the trend line. Bam, trend line, bam, trend line, bam. Go back to one of my favorite. I mean, even this one, you could put a trend line in. Look at the trend line you could just set in here. Trend line up, all the way up. And look when you crack it. Look at that trend line though. Hit it, up. I mean, you go up to every one of these and essentially put a trend line in these. So notice that, and I kind of forgot to put those in. I think I did in one of my other lessons, but look at the trend line. All the way back to my first initial example. Look at the trend line you could put up. Every time we hit that trend line, it squeezes, team. So remember to put those trend lines in. They're crucial. Let's get to the number 3, since we've kind of, had 1 and 2. 52-week high breakout pattern. Now, we haven't seen, last year we saw hundreds. I mean, I remember June alone, we probably saw 40, 50. I mean, it was nuts. It was every day. Some days, there was an account where I was up to 20, 30, and we weren't even halfway through the month. I was like, this is crazy. But it's when you break above your old highs, and whether it's during the day or we get a gap up. And my favorite's when we actually are gapping up like this play, IMRN. And it's hard to see, but it's over here on the far right-hand side. Look when we finally gap above this area, and then these two upper shadows, and you can see that's your main one you need to hold. And look where it even bounced at that day. So you open right here. This is where you open at. We came down. I remember this play, IMRN. I think this may have been my U-shaped play. I'm going to show you here in a minute. We bounce off this, look, this old 52-week high area. And then we roll back up to 28.99. Now, this was over here. Look at February of last year. That's why last year to me, I'm sorry, hands down, not even question, hottest year I've ever seen in stock. I know, of course, this is only going back the last decade or so, essentially. What I've kind of, over the last I should say 5 years, 6 years, for me most. But so, which essentially I think it hadn't been crazy or weirdness, crazy action since, the 2008-9 year or whenever that was. But point being, it has not been overall so hot in a full year like it was last year. It was nuts how much spiking we were seeing continually. We had some lulls for sure, but it was just a great overall hot year. But anyway, last year, February the 6th, again, 52-week high breakout. We're gapping up over these highs. So if we do, and which we do in this day, if we come down to it, it's going to be a great bounce play. But regardless, look when we break above it. Look at this huge range and huge spike breaking above the 52-week high. Another, just a small example I pulled off the internet. I was like, oh, this is a good example. But again, because you keep breaking. Here's your 52-week high area. Boom, look what happens when we break above it. Great spike. Now we're holding the old 52-week high at $36. Boom, break above the old, or the newly created 52-week high, which is 41.50. Another good $5 spike. Again, look when we break above key resistance areas, old 52-week high. So essentially 36.50. We'll call it 37, actually, 37. We spike up to $41. That's a $4 spike. Boom, on that day. Great. I know it's not, it could be crazier. It could be 10, 20, 30. But still, look what happens when you break above 52-week high area, the spike. Break above 52-week high area, the spike. Notice them. I love those. Now, we hadn't seen too many lately, but when we get back into it, team, and we're hotter and we're about to ramp back up, I'm telling you, the March Madness is coming. I'm telling you. And now if it doesn't happen, everyone can make fun of me here in 2 weeks. I'm like, yeah, March was going to get hot, wasn't it? Okay. But usually March A has already been super hot. I mean, last 2-3 years has just been super solid. This year a little bit quiet. I think it's a quiet before the storm. The turning's starting up today. CLVS, 100 million float, up 60-something%. I'm telling you, that's a good sign. But anyway, number 4, U-shaped breakout pattern. Oh, I love these. Oh, ho, 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 ho. This could be number 3 for me. When it's, again, this is when you're seeing a lot more of these. This is when stocks do find unlike today, where you're seeing, what were the 2 plays that started with, what was it? What were today's plays? Started with S, didn't they? SNES, right? And then you go right now, pull up SNES, pull up SPCB. Look at that U shape that could have been had. It literally looks just like this, and it's about right here right now, but this is not going to happen. This volume is not going to come in, but that's what you're going to look at. I'm going to show you a prime example. This one I kind of just came up on my own, just kind of an easy example just so you can see. Could be the open, could be an old high of day that it did spike at the open. Say it spiked at the open right here. This was the open, spiked up to here, but now we're creating this U shape, right? The volume's really dying off at the bottom, but it's now starting to hold. About 30, 40 minutes have gone by, and it's really holding this. Okay, well, hey, and that's why you'll see. And it's been a while, team. But how often, if you've been here long enough, have you seen me alert? Watch for say SPCB. Watch for SPCB to U-shape, break through, say, $7.75, then $8, and then through the VWAP, and boom, boom, boom. So we haven't had that, but that's what you're looking for. You're looking for this volume to kind of start surging back in, break through key areas, and then the main one could be the old high of day, could be the open, could be the VWAP. This is what you're looking for. Now let's look at the prime example, and this was IMRN. I hate that I kind of cut off the ticker right there, but let's look at this IMRN. Look, and this is on its way. This is now on its way up to 28. What I just showed you a second ago. This is that day. This was that day. Look at that, beautiful, and it did get again a spike at the open. Here is your open, by the way, but here's your spike at the open. Here's your open now. And now you have to cross back through that. I'll never forget alerting this play because here's what was so crucial about it. The 2 alerts I was given. We need to cross back through the open, or not the open, 875 real slash the VWAP. The VWAP was right at 875, and you can see when we rocked up to it. We had a little bit of resistance there, right? But the 875 rule plus the open, which is right around this area, really close to 10. Pretty big whole round number that's hard to get through. So I said if we can cross through 875 VWAP, then break through the open at 10, this thing's going to go off to the races. Had no idea when I got in here at the break of the VWAP, and I know I was selling here some at 10, and I don't remember how long I held, but I did not hold through even, I don't even think 12. Probably through the break of 10, somewhere in here I was out. You know, these upper shadows, that probably was right here is probably where I was out. I can't remember, it's been so long now. But look how this continued up to $28. Remember, just imagine and of course, like the deck, the hypothetical. I'm in 1,000 shares at $8.75 and I hold. I would have been up $20,000. $20,000 I would have made on that play. Of course, that's getting out the top, knowing that 28 was the top. But still, hypothetically, crazy, right? Beautiful move, though, team. Keep the room. Look at this over and over. We're going to see when we start seeing these more and more and more. This is what I'm talking about. Keep on watch. IMRN, U-shape, break of the VWAP, break of the open /$10. You know, and that was a double whammy, 2 double whammies. And that's why I knew, look at the volume. Look at the volume that surges in at the break of the VWAP and $8.75 and the break of open and $10. Look at that. It's higher than the open. We're at 2 hours in, team. 2 hours in. And we have higher volume than we had at the open. Again, because if we break and again, keep on watch for break of the VWAP and $8.75 rule, super hard resistance, and the open at $10, and this is off to the races, and beautiful. So keep that on, when we get hot again, U-shaped breakouts are beautiful, especially over, through resistance. This is what you see. Look at the volume and the crazy break and a run to $28. Oh my gosh. Oh, let's get to J Trade's favorite. Well, probably top 2. I don't know if it may be his go-to, maybe his number 1 might be. But the number 5 on my list, I had to put it on here, and it's definitely could be your 3, 4, 5, but it's definitely got to be on here. Downtrend breakout patterns that we just saw CLVS do this earlier. Beautiful example right here. I think this is actually one of J Trade's examples that I stole from him forever ago when I was about to do this lesson. When I did this lesson, back in June, July. I think this is from J Trade's. I'm almost 100% sure. So J Trade, sorry, but I'm giving you credit. There you go. Look at it, though. Beautiful downtrend. And look at the downtrend. We started at 15. We're down to, below, right around 10. Here's the 980 mark. We're right around 10, hovering below it. We finally break back through 10, and these moving averages, VWAP, I think, is one of them. Lucky. I found a cookie. And look at this. You can probably run. I bet this ran probably close back up to 15. It probably at least ran back up to these upper shadows, right in around this little conglomeration of nastiness right here around the $13 area. Again, though, downtrend break and break of VWAP, break of anything with it too. Ooh, and it's hot, and it's been kind of hot. I'm telling you, team, you've got to be keeping these on watch. Beautiful, beautiful breakout pattern. Again, just kind of the same thing, right? Just drawing it out for you to make it simple. Downtrend break. Again, you add something with it. The VWAP's down here and it's bouncing off of it, or it's coming to a moving average down here, and that or trend line now finally. It has just that double whammy of yumminess to bode with it was great. But regardless, downtrend break. We break out of the downtrend. Look at the run made. Beautiful. Love it. There you go. Top 5 breakout patterns to know. Hope that helps you guys out. For any newer traders, definitely crucial. I know, I try to break it down as simple as I can so it's not so hard. But that's